What's going on, YouTube world? My name is Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. That's my nickname. Appreciate you guys for tuning into the channel today. Be sure to hit that like button right now if you're rocking me. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos like this weekly and almost every single day if I can. This channel is the place to be for great fire NFL, NBA, MLB, in college football, college basketball, all that good stuff. I cover all that on this channel. So just hit that subscribe button and turn on the post notifications too so you don't miss a video. Today we are previewing the Arizona Cardinals football schedule in 2019-2020. I'm going to go game by game and give a record prediction for where I think the Cardinals will finish in the 2019-20 season. And obviously I'm covering all 32 NFL teams, so we're starting off right with the Arizona Cardinals today. Be sure to also check out my college football record predictions for teams if you're into college football. I will put a link in the description for the college football playlist I have going for you guys. Either way, getting right to things, Arizona Cardinals, obviously not a very good year last year. I went 13-3. I'm sorry, not 13-3. Whoa, you got to reverse that. They went 3-13. Yes, they had the number one overall pick in the draft. Obviously, they shocked a lot of people. They traded Josh Rosen and they went with Kyler Murray, number one overall. Kyler Murray, I think he's a very good quarterback. I am high on him. I think he's a special quarterback. I think he's one of the best combinations of a runner and a thrower the draft has ever seen in history, okay? I think Dwayne Haskins is a little bit better of a quarterback than him, but hey, Kyler Murray's a stud, okay? And fit matters in the NFL, guys. It matters. Obviously, you got Cliff Kingsbury, who's going to be the head coach this year. Obviously, the Cardinals moved on from Steve Wilkes last year. I personally would have given Steve Wilkes another year just because, you know, you got people like Marvin Lewis who have been in Cincinnati for a million years. Finally gets fired this year, thank God. Cincinnati fans, is one of the best things that will ever happen to you guys, okay? But I just feel like you need to give a head coach at least a year or two to establish a culture. But hey, apparently it didn't work in Arizona. They fired Steve Wilkes. And they also got rid of Josh Rosen, who I was not very high on in college. But I think Josh Rosen has some talent. I would have given him about another year or two because let's be real, the Cardinals were not a very good team last year. I mean, you don't go 3-13. I mean, the quarterback's not the only thing wrong with your team if you're going 3-13. That's just the reality of the situation. So Josh Rosen, while yes, he could have played better, he was not put in a position to succeed. But I think that honestly, it wasn't the right fit in Arizona. I think he's going to do some decent things in Miami, so he's gone out the door. I thought they could have got a little bit more back from the Josh Rosen trade, but hey, I love what the Cardinals did in the draft. Obviously, drafted Kyler Murray, but they went out and got a ton of impact players. I mean, they got Byron Murphy, a stud quarterback from Washington. They went out and got Andy Isabella, who has 4.3 speed, a good wide receiver. They went out and drafted Zach Allen, who was a very underrated defensive end. He might start for them this year. They obviously also got Hakeem Butler, who I thought was one of the top 5 wide receivers in the draft. I think they got him in the 4th or 5th round. I mean, that was a steal. And they also went out and snagged Deontay Thompson in the draft as well, a safety from Alabama. I love all of those draft picks for the Cardinals. However, I did think they should have addressed the offensive line. Okay, their offensive line is the weakest point of their team. But hey, Kyler Murray is a great quarterback. I think you can legitimately make the argument he has 4.3 speed. He's going to be able to evade pressure. Okay, so like I said, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, Kyler Murray, he has to work in Arizona. He has to, or else everyone is getting fired. Because pretty much the only reason why Cliff Kingsbury has this job is because Kyler Murray, he said, look, I got to draft Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's my guy. Kyler Murray's my guy. I need Kyler Murray. If I get Kyler Murray, I'm going to be successful. If Kyler Murray is a bust, Cliff Kingsbury is out the door. This whole situation is a race, okay? And look, I gave the Cardinals a lot of heat for actually hiring Cliff Kingsbury. But as I reflect on it, I think he's more designed to have success in the NFL than in college. Because in college, you have to recruit the players that you want in order to fit your scheme. And he just didn't get the recruits he wanted at Texas Tech. Now, obviously, he didn't win a lot of games, but he still scored a lot of points at Texas Tech. So can Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury do some special things in Arizona? Well, let's dive right into it. So let's look at right here. Like I said, you open up with the Lions at home, you're at the Ravens, you play the Panthers at home, and you play the Seahawks at home as well. I actually think you start off the season 2-2. I think you'll beat the Lions. I think you'll beat the Panthers. Look, I understand Lions fans are going to say, well, we got Matthew Stafford. We improved this offseason. I get it. But look, last year, you played Sam Darnold in week 1. You got blown out. And this past year, you only beat Arizona, who was a 3-win team, 17-3. I mean, you weren't very impressive in that win last year, okay? And look, you have to go on the road to Detroit. I think that this new system that Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury are going to install for their offense is going to work. I think that you steal a game versus Detroit at home. I think it's the first game of the season. I think this is going to be the first taste that the NFL will see of Kyler Murray. Look, Kyler Murray, obviously, teams can adjust to quarterbacks and things like that, but I think Kyler Murray, initially it's going to be a little bit hard for teams to adjust him because he's such a dynamic player. I mean, he can run around, he can throw the ball. I mean, he can throw the ball from different angles. He's got the baseball background. Kyler Murray is just a special talent. I think he's a dynamic player. He's going to light the NFL on fire for the first couple weeks. I think you win that game versus Detroit. Detroit, not a very good team. They were picking top 10 in the draft for a reason as well. I think you win that game at home. At Baltimore, though, I think that you catch your first loss. It's your first true road game. Usually quarterbacks in their first true road game don't do too well. Listen, the Ravens were a playoff team for a reason. I think their experience and I think their defense will do good enough to stop Kyler Murray. They'll confuse him a little bit. And Lamar Jackson's a capable quarterback. He does run around a lot. This Arizona defense was not very good versus the run. The Ravens love to run the ball. I think that you lose at Baltimore. But Carolina, I think you beat the Panthers coming back at home. I don't know what to make of the Panthers. Cam Newton has never had back-to-back winning seasons. I just don't know what to make of them. I mean, you never know what you're going to get from Cam Newton. I love the Panthers' defensive line, but I have a lot of questions about that secondary. And like I said, this is a Panthers team that started 6-2 and didn't even make the playoffs a year ago. So I think that Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, I love the wide receivers they have. Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler. They already have Christian Kirk who they drafted a year ago. I think Kyler Murray is set up to succeed in this offense outside the offensive line. I think you steal a game versus Carolina, but obviously you'll lose to Seattle. Russell Wilson's a top 5 quarterback in this league. I think experience. Pete Carroll's a very good head coach. I just think the Seattle's a better team. You're playing a team that made the playoffs last year. You'll lose that game. You start off 2-2, and the next couple games, let's just go over the next 4 games. You're at the Bengals. You play the Falcons at home, and then you're on the road twice versus the Giants and the Saints. I think you'll beat the Bengals. I think you'll lose to the Falcons. I think you'll lose to the Giants. I think you'll lose to the Saints. Okay, let's dive into why. The Bengals were the 30th best defense as far as points per game were allowed last year, okay? They were 32nd in total defense. I think Kyler Murray will do some special things versus that defense. I understand it's on the road, but I don't trust Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton needs to go. This is Andy Dalton's last year for me. They are also breaking in a new head coach. I mean, that defense for Cincinnati is not very good. I think you have enough talent in the secondary to match up with AJ Green and Boyd somewhat, and John Ross maybe. I just think that, you surprise some people. I think you'll beat the Bengals. I'm just not a believer in Andy Dalton. I'm not a believer in the Cincinnati team either. This is a team that's inept to consistently winning. I just think you win that game. Falcons at home. I think you'll lose that game. I'm higher on the Falcons than most people this year. The Falcons had a pretty good draft, drafting 2 great offensive linemen to help protect Matt Ryan. And no team was hit with more injuries than the Falcons last year. I can make the case that they didn't have so many injuries last year, they probably would have made the playoffs. I mean, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. I mean, they have stud wide receivers. They have a great tight end. They have 2 pretty good running backs. Matt Ryan's a top 10 quarterback in this league. I think that, the experience of the Falcons, and Dan Quinn is a pretty good defensive coach. I like him as a head coach. I think you lose that game. At the New York Giants, look, can you win this game? Yes. But listen, the Giants actually, as bad as they were last year, they actually competed and got better as the year went on. Listen, Eli Manning, I don't know if Eli Manning or Daniel Jones are going to be starting by that time. I don't know about Daniel Jones, but hey, you're on the road, okay? I like what they did in the draft, adding Dexter Lawrence and DeAndre Baker. Saquon Barkley's a stud. You did not stop the run very well last year. Your run defense was terrible. I just think that it's a road game. It's a tough place to play in New York. I just think that the Giants, they made some strides last year. The Giants, if Eli Manning was not so bad last year, the Giants could have won some more games, okay? They just could have. I know they lose OBJ, but OBJ apparently was a locker room cancer to them, so whatever. I think that you lose that game. I think you lose that game, though. At New Orleans, the New Orleans Saints were a play away from getting to the Super Bowl last year. Nothing to talk about there. You'll lose that game. You're at New Orleans. No one beats Drew Brees in Drew Brees' house. That's a loss. The next couple games, you got the 49ers, you got the Buccaneers, you got the 49ers. 2 of those games are on the road, okay? I think you win one of those games. I think you'll beat the 49ers at home. I think you split with them, though. I think that you'll split with them, like I said. San Francisco, I'm high on them this year, but again, we don't know what we're getting from Jimmy G because we haven't seen him play a full season. I think Kyler Murray in this Cardinals team is going to surprise some people. I think they'll win some games they shouldn't win. I think Kyler Murray is a very dynamic player. I mean, you still got David Johnson, too. Let's not forget, David Johnson is a stud running back, okay? And look, San Francisco, I don't like their wide receivers. I mean, Deebo Samuel's good. Dante Pettis is good, but nothing special there. I think you steal a game there. At Tampa Bay and at San Francisco, I don't think you'll beat San Francisco twice. I mean, San Francisco did add Nick Bosa. They have an amazing D-line. They added D4 this year, too. They have Jason Verrett. They still got Richard Sherman doing his thing in the secondary. I think you'll lose that game. But at Tampa Bay, I think that's a loss because, look, Jameis Winston is talented, okay? They have some weapons. They obviously got Mike Evans. They got O.J. Howard. I think that Bruce Arians will do wonders for Jameis Winston this year. I really do. I mean, Bruce Arians was able to resurrect Carson Palmer's career. I mean, Bruce Arians is known for getting the best out of his quarterbacks. And Jameis Winston, I think this will be a breakout year for him because let's be real. If Jameis Winston doesn't have a good year, he might be out the door. They might look for his replacement. I think Jameis Winston plays well this year. I think this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team just barely beats you. You're on the road. If you're at home, I'll probably pick you to win this game, but it's on the road at Tampa Bay. You'll lose that game. So now you're heading into your bye week after these couple of games. You play the Rams, you play the Steelers, you play the Browns the next 3 games. I think you'll win one of those games. I think you'll beat the Steelers. You'll lose to the Rams. The Rams obviously made the Super Bowl. They're a pretty good team. They're just a better team. Aaron Donald's probably going to be chasing around Kyler Murray. I mean, that's his worst nightmare. You'll lose that game, but I think you'll beat the Steelers. Listen, the Steelers play down the competition all the time. That's what the Steelers do. They're known to play down the competition. I think that you catch them on a bad day, on a day where they're not as focused. I'm high on the Steelers this year as well. I'm very high on them. I think they're going to do some good things. I don't think that the Steelers are just going to lay down and be terrible this year, even after missing the playoffs. Will they make the playoffs? I don't know, but I just think, look, you have the talent to beat them. Okay, look, outside offensive line, you actually are not bad at certain positions. I mean, you still got Patrick Peterson. You got Byron Murphy in that secondary. You got Chandler Jones. Okay, so I think Kyler Murray makes a play or two. I think you steal a game versus the Steelers, okay? But let's be real. That's probably going to be the biggest win of your season. And then you turn around and play the Cleveland Browns next. I mean, I think you'll lose that game. Look, I'm a believer in Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to do some special things in the NFL. I mean, they got Nick Chubb. They'll have Kareem Hunt by that time. Jarvis Landry, OBJ is one of the 2 best wide receivers in all of the NFL. I think you lose that game. Cleveland's just a more talented team. The battle of the Oklahoma quarterbacks. I think Baker Mayfield is better than Kyler Murray. You lose that game. And then the last 2 games of the season, I think you'll lose at Seattle. I think you'll lose at the Los Angeles Rams. It's no shame in losing those 2 games. Those are 2 playoff teams that made the playoffs last year. I mean, you were a 3-win team last year, but hey, looking at this schedule, 5-11. That's a 2-game improvement from last year. I think Kyler Murray's going to do some special things this year. I think this Cliff Kingsbury offense will work, but you still got questions of the offensive line. I don't know about your linebackers. Look, you don't usually turn around and have a winning season after picking no more overall. You usually have to take baby steps. And I think this is a step in the right direction. I think a 2-game improvement from a year ago after you add some great players in the draft, after you install your new system, after you build a culture. Usually when you got a new head coach, you just want to build a culture. You want to compete in games. I think the Cardinals will be very competitive. I really do. I think they'll be competitive in some games. They'll steal some games they shouldn't win. I think Kyler Murray leads the Cardinals to 5 wins this year. But hey, that's a wrap for this video. Be sure to like the video right now. If you're rocking me, subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Turn on them post notifications too. You don't want to miss a video, okay? Appreciate you guys for tuning in today. It is my favorite thing in the world to do to make YouTube videos for you guys. I appreciate you guys. Just share this channel with all your friends. Help me grow. It's my favorite thing in the world to do to make YouTube videos. And I'm potentially looking to go to ESPN, Fox Sports 1, or a big time network in the near future down the road. This is what I want to do for a living. I want to be a sports analyst for a living. I want to do what I'm doing right now for a living when I get older. I'm going to college. That's my major. That's what I'm going to major in. Okay, so just be sure to help grow this channel. Appreciate you guys for tuning in today. And I'm Ghost. Have a blessed day, you guys.